Okay, so today, as you see, I've already started doing a really quick sketch in Sketchbook Pro, and I utilized first. Let me see. Let me make sure here. It looks like I started out with this particular pencil right here. Then I moved on to a variation of that one, but I discovered a new pencil. Not really new. It's been part of the Sketchbook Pro lineup now for quite a long time. I don't think it's that one. I think it's that one right there. Yeah. What I like about this particular pencil right here, I think it's one of the pencils that was downloaded a while back from their website. What I like about that, about Sketchbook Pro, is they provide free brushes for you guys. It might have been part of the basic setup. I don't know. Let's go down here. Might have been some of the textured pencils. As you see, I have quite a bit of a collection of Sketchbook Pro asset pencils. Anyway, so what I like about this pencil is it's got a nice texture to it. And that's kind of what I like whenever I draw. I like having texture with my line. So as you see, this is kind of a disturbing three-quarter view of maybe a pirate or some type of a winch. I did this really quick. Took me about 15-20 minutes. I did this yesterday and posted it on social media. If you guys want to follow me on social media, just look up at Mike Clarda for Instagram. Anyway, so getting started here, I'll typically do a really rough sketch, as you guys see, and I will move down the opacity on this particular layer. Sketchbook Pro has a really great layers palette, and you can save as PSD formats. For those of you who are laymen who don't understand what PSD is, that means Photoshop documents, and you can save as layers. I'm going to be drawing and kind of refining my line work. I have a really bad habit of going too far whenever it comes to doing my line work. Going too far, that means basically destroying the really cool feeling that I get whenever I do my drawings, and I lose the character of the line. So what I'm going to do today is just endeavor not to do that. So you guys see, I'm not really per se tracing, and that's important to understand whenever you're working on a piece like this. I don't want to trace my line. Maybe I want to push it out a little bit further. So maybe I want this brow to go a little bit further here. I'm not just arbitrarily tracing things. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to tell you. I'm not tracing, guys and gals. And at the end of the day, I'm not really going to get rid of my underlying, I call it like a underdrawing. In painting, there's what's called an underpainting. Basically, you can draw the, let me do this. See, I made a mistake last time. There we go. Stabbing. I made the mistake last time of making the eye, that pupil, too big. So this time, I'm going to change things up a little bit. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. See, that's the problem with me. I get so caught up in the drawing, I just forget what I was talking about. Anyway, today I'm working on the Surface Book. You guys know that I love my Surface devices. I love drawing on them. I also own iPads, or I have owned iPads before. I like drawing on the iPad as well. Basically, I just like drawing. I just like drawing! So, that's iris is right there, and then we have that comes right here. Okay. been experimenting in the laboratory with different ways of doing my videos. Sometimes I'll do them with sometimes I will do them with sound, and other times I will do them without sound. I like narrating over it because it gives you a different kind of perspective. Whoops. There's one of the faults, by the way, of the surface line. Did you see that line that just happened? That is a palm rejection issue. I don't know how to solve it. Because technically, the setting on the surface is if your hand is present, or I'm sorry, whenever the pen is being used, it should ignore your palm. It doesn't do that all the time. And it's quite frustrating whenever you're working like I am and you have a quick sketch like I do, and then you get this horrible, weird line that appears on your artwork. And you're like, oh my gosh! So, and it happens quite a bit, to be honest with you. I'm this is the latest iteration of the Pro Pen. Whoops, that sucks. The Platinum Pen that they include, I believe, with the new Surface Book 2. Make sure that's the right one. It's not. There we go. With the Surface Book 2, that's supposed to have 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, and it's supposed to be refined to not do stuff like that. The accuracy is supposed to be so much better, but it doesn't. It's the Intrigue technology. So this isn't really a tutorial, instead of just, me drawing. I don't know what you guys think about that. What I'll do is I'll sit here and I call it noodling. I'll noodle. I'll noodle for an hour or half an hour, because right now I'm sitting on my sofa noodling. Let's go this. If you watch, these little pucks over here on the right-hand side, these are user interface pucks. So this one right here is the color puck. This one is the size and opacity. So if I push and I hold down, you see the little menu, sub-menu that comes at the bottom? I can adjust the opacity, and what I'm doing is I'm dragging my pen up and down while still in contact with the surface of the screen, and it shows the little cursor on the right-hand side. So like right here, see it goes away and then it comes. See if we make it bigger. If you drag to the left and to the right, it gets larger and smaller. See opacity, how it goes up and down like this. And then here, goes down. If you want to change the specifics of the brush, you double click on the brush and it brings up a sub-menu. Here's your basic settings. It's a standard type brush. Excuse me. Allergies. And then if you really want to tweak a lot of things in the brush and really customize it, you can do that. And if you like, once you customize everything, you can export and you can rename it and create an icon for it. They've got, you can import icons and create icons. So for those of you who create brushes and do things, you guys already know this. But if you're interested in creating brushes for this particular program, you can. So that being said, if you notice, and I try to really express this to my students because I teach as well. The importance of line weight. Oh my gosh, what is line weight? Gosh, I could do an entire teaching on line weight because it's extremely important. Line weight basically is how thick or thin a line is, depending on how hard or soft you apply pressure to the stylus. The same thing happens whenever you draw traditionally. Traditional? What are you talking about, Michael? Traditional?
I don't draw traditional. What are you, born in 1800?
No, I'm not born in 1800. I'm not that old, and not too long ago, we didn't have Control Z. We didn't have, these computers. We had
Pen and paper, and we loved it.
and I still love pen and paper. But line weight, basically, if you watch, so I'm going to increase the size of the brush. Okay, that's kind of a standard width of the brush. Now, if I go lighter, it's going to go lighter. But what happens is if I really push down the size of this, and I can vary the line weight. Oh, that's delicious. That line weight was delicious. And what that does is it helps give your image character and weight. This line here can be much thicker. Oh yeah, that's a nice line. And it goes around. That's kind of a creepy voice. My son says, "Daddy, don't do that voice. That really creeps me out." And I'm like, "All right, do you want some ketchup on your burger?" And he's like, no. No. Anyway, so yeah, line weight. Variation of line weight. That's one of the things that I think students really don't employ enough in their artwork.
These kids today, what's wrong with them? With their root beer, their rock and roll, and their lack of line weight. My gosh.
Just kidding. Yeah, so like this one over here has a nice, it's thinner right here. It comes around this corner, and it's kind of, gravity affects it a certain way. So oh yeah, line weight. Yeah, working in Sketchbook Pro today. Just having some fun. If you notice, I'm able to go and really fly around this program pretty quickly. Mainly because I've worked in it for a little while. I don't consider myself to be a quote-unquote guru or, oops, that line weight sucks. Or somebody that really has an extreme handle on this program. I have been using it for a long time, but I've been using it my way, right? And there's so many different ways to do so many different, so many similar things that my way might not be your way, and that doesn't necessarily make it bad. You guys might be using it a certain way, and that's completely fine. You do whatever you want, brah. You do whatever you want. One of the things that I've noticed, and I wish they would fix it, is whenever you draw slow on the surface, and I've owned 1, 2, 3, 4, Surface RT, Surface 2, Surface Pro 3, and Surface Book. Okay, so I've owned 4 Surface devices. One of them had Wacom technology. One of them, I believe, had Wacom technology, but I never really utilized it because the stinking screen died on me. That's the Surface RT. Or at least the pressure sensitivity did. The Surface Book 2, which had Wacom Tech, which I loved. And then, of course, the Surface Book 3, which is Intrig, first introduction of Intrig, which, great. But here's the deal. Intrig, and I'm going to show you right here, Intrig does not do well. We're going to draw slow. You see all those little wigglies? Now, if you even look, the cursor is going up and down, 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 up and down. And then whenever I take my hand away from the screen, of course, it completely messes up. Thanks, Intrig. You suck. So we're going to not even touch the screen now with my hand. Okay, again, drawing slow. You've got to wiggle. There's a wiggle. And this is supposed to be the latest and greatest pen. Now, if your illustrations don't require, like mine, I don't really care about the line being perfect. But whenever I want a perfect line, I'd like for it to draw straight, and it doesn't. But, check this out. So whenever I draw quickly, look at that. Perfectly straight. Every single stinking time. I don't know if it has to do with the palm rejection. Probably, because the palm rejection sucks. Sucky! But my illustrations don't really need to have, I'm not drawing technical stuff. So what do I like about this again? What I like about this brush is now we're going to make it bigger. And look, it looks like pencil. Voodoo. And then if I were to really make it big, and I would do the opacity down. Oh, look at that. It's so pretty. Oh. And two, this kind of reminds me of a teacher I had back in the day. I love teachers. I am a teacher. I teach private school, art private school. And then hopefully I'll be teaching at a different level here pretty soon. We will see. We will see. And then what I like too about the surface line, I've got a little rubber nib on my stylus. So it gives just a hint of resistance. And you can change the, I say a lot. I noticed that in my videos. I need to stop that. Okay. But there is resistance, which I really like. The iPad Pro does not have that. I really wish that somebody would develop replaceable nibs for the iPad Pro and market them and sell them, because I would buy, and have different hardnesses. That's not even a word. Hardness. Yeah, it is a word. Different, or how should I say, variation of hardness, similar to what the Surface Pro line does, which I would really like. I think what I'm going to do on this particular piece is I'm going to really kind of push the wrinkle factor. Two, if I go over here, I purchased these brushes. Look at this. I love this. Some people don't like brushes, and honestly, I think they're stupid. I'm sorry, you're stupid. Just kidding, I kid. I am a practical artist. I think whatever tool gets the job done is the one you need to use. There's a guy that I watch. His name's Lawrence Mann. I think he's a great artist. He's based in the UK. He's based in the UK, and he's got some great work. He kind of poo-pooed artists that use brushes, and I understand where he's coming from. He's like, use the standard brushes. I'll make my own. I'll do whatever I want. Blah, 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 blah. I think that his argument was valid in some respect, but on the other hand, if you don't use different types of brushes and you rely, let's see, we're going up the opacity again, and you rely upon the standard brushes, you're kind of doing exactly what you're saying not to do. You're using brushes that everybody else uses. Make your own brushes, do whatever you want, make you happy, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. I just like using these brushes because look at the awesome skin textures that it gets. I love the skin textures. It makes me happy. Skin texture. And again, this particular sketch drawing is not something that I'm working on the under drawing. This is going to be the base for a more detailed illustration. So what I'm going to basically do is I'll put you guys on time lapse because nobody wants to sit here and listen to me drone on and do 3-4 hours worth of, 3-4 hours worth of that. So I'm going to put you guys on time lapse, and when I'm done, I'll post the final. But this is where we're at. Working on the Sketchbook Pro. No. Working on the working on the Surface Book, utilizing the program Sketchbook Pro, which I love. Love Sketchbook Pro. You know, I've used Photoshop, I've used Illustrator, I've used Manga Studio Pro. Whoops, holy crap. Manga Studio Pro, all on in the Windows 10 environment. I've also used Sketchbook Pro on a Mac, used it on the iPad, and it sucks on the iPad. Holy crike, it sucks. But on these Surface devices, I don't think I really want to use any other program. Now, I've used Manga Studio Pro, which is good. But this program, I don't know, on this platform, it just feels so good. Anyway, thank you guys for visiting. Definitely like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of the time-lapse video. And wish I could get more videos out to you guys. The problem is my channel doesn't make any money. So anytime that I sit down and do a video, I lose money. Because money and time are like best friends. One goes with the other. So those of you, also, I'm using a Luminance. I'm using a device. I don't use keyboards with my Surface devices. What are you talking about, Holmes? I don't use keyboards. I use similar to what Wacom includes with their Cintiq devices, their large ones. A little eye shine in here. I'll put a little eye shine down at the bottom. I didn't want to pay the exorbitant cost that Wacom charges for their little quick key device. So I got one from XP Pen, cost $35 from Amazon. And it's a programmable, looks like a pack of cards. And it's got 9 keys on it. And basically, it acts as my quick key device when I sketch. So that's really cool. Anyway, thank you guys once again. Enjoy the time lapse. We'll see you next time. Bye. that's it. That is the sketch on the Surface Book using Sketchbook Pro. So enjoy, like and subscribe, and share, and we'll definitely see you next time. Bye.